What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video, and today we have the Voyo i8 Pro 4G Phablet, because yes, this is supposed to be a tablet they can call with, and it runs off 2 SIM cards. It's dual SIM, it's got an SD card slot, 3GB of RAM, and 64GB of eMMC storage. So let's go ahead and see if this thing is any good, and yeah, let's get right into it. So first of all, it opens up like so, and I've already unboxed it, and I've already reviewed it. We'll take a look at that in just a bit. But inside the box, you'll get some wrapping, and you'll get the micro USB charging cable, and the charging adapter that runs at 5 volts, 2 amps. You also get some reminders, the manual, and another sheet for warranty. And here is the tablet itself. So I do believe it did come with a pre-installed screen protector, but it was actually pretty badly installed, so I had to remove it. But yeah, this is the pink version, and don't ask me why. It's got 2 rear firing speakers that are pretty mediocre, of course. On the right, we got a headphone jack, the volume buttons, a power button, and a reset button, I believe. On the left, there's nothing. On the bottom, there's a microphone. And on the top, you got the charging port, and this little panel right here, right where the camera is. So you can open it up like so, which will give you access to the dual full-sized SIM card slots, as well as an SD card slot right over here. And unfortunately, I could not actually test this tablet because pretty much every SIM card that I have around the household is actually a micro or a nano SIM card. And the adapters that I try to use, they don't work. It will just end up getting the SIM card stuck and nothing reads. So, fortunately, I could not test the SIM card part of things, but we have tested everything else on this tablet. Now, while the tablet loads, let's take a look at the logo here. It's pretty much trying to copy Dell. And here we have the software. So right now I have Lenovo Launcher installed because it does look nicer and it works much better than the one that it comes with. It's one of the stock looking ones. I believe it's the AW3 or something. But yeah, I installed the Lenovo Launcher. It works pretty well. Everything looks very nice and smooth. Overall, the screen does look pretty nice. It's got pretty nice viewing angles and the colors are nice and vivid. Brightness gets pretty okay, it's nothing spectacular, but it gets the job done. There is some light bleed, as you can see right over here. So first of all, the interface itself works pretty nicely. It's pretty quick and smooth. Haven't had any issues with it yet. And overall, it does everything that you usually do with a tablet like this. Over here we have the SIM card menu, and that's where you have SIM card 1 and 2. You pretty much do the exact same thing with your phone. You call people, you have 2 SIM cards, and they're both active. But of course, I could not test that out and let you guys know how it is. And I know it's kind of a bummer, but this tablet is not very stable. Just like every other tablet we have reviewed in the past week, they've all been pretty bad. Not only is it running Android 7.0, which might be nice because you can do dual split screen mode, but the last Android security patch is actually from November 5, 2016. Yeah, that's 2 years old and it's 2018 right now, so maybe not so good. And it's not even 7.1, so that's something to keep in mind. So you're probably saying, alright, forget the dual SIM cards. How is the tablet itself? How does it perform? And how does it run with apps? Well, let me tell you. YouTube can barely run on 720p 60 FPS. And Netflix and Crunchyroll do not work. They simply crash or just freeze. Even though this tablet screen would have made for a pretty nice movie watching or anime watching machine, because the display does look nice and the colors are very nice and vivid. But again, Crunchyroll and Netflix do not work. So let's go ahead and take a look at the browsing level. Does the browsing work? How smooth is it? So let's go ahead and run YouTube, and overall you can see that it's pretty smooth. Now if you go ahead and try to play a video,
We're going to test your knowledge of some everyday items that you get at the supermarket. When's the last time that you have been at a supermarket? A long time ago. Okay. All right.
it does work pretty smoothly, but of course you cannot change the quality of the video. Now if you go ahead into MSN.com, which is something that I usually find pretty heavy, and try to switch to desktop site just to see how it performs, it also works pretty well. Scrolling is not the best, but hey, it works. And overall, I really haven't had any issues with it. When it comes to browsing websites, it does its job. It zooms in and out, which even though it's slow, it does work. And overall, yeah, you can browse fairly okay with this tablet. And let's go ahead and take a quick look at the dual split screen mode. So you can go ahead and hold down the menu button or the recent app button, and then go over here and run dual Chrome tabs. So here we have Bing and the MSN website running on both pages, and you can do that with pretty much every other app. Of course, there are limitations, but you can still do split screen. So you can open up a Word document and do some research on this tablet, which works pretty okay. Now on the website specifications, I did read they're supposed to have a GPS module, but when I try running it, I would usually get about 2 to 3 GPS signals, but no fix. But when I enable Wi-Fi and give it to the high priority, I'd get 16, but still no fix on GPS. So maybe not the best tablet when it comes to GPS. And if I remember correctly, this thing was going for around $180. And for what it is right now, barely able to run YouTube at 720p 60 FPS, it's a pretty expensive tablet. But to make matters worse, this thing actually crashes pretty often. I would have the tablet sitting on my table, and it would simply randomly reboot. Out of nowhere, I would just see it restarting, and I would hear the notifications again. Here we have Asphalt, and as you can see, the performance, it's pretty horrible. There's a lot of delay, a lot of latency, and definitely a lot of lag. It's simply unplayable. And this is, yes, running at very low settings, so yeah. So if you plan to play any games, anything heavy like this, then forget about it. But if we go ahead and try to play anything else, lightweight, and fairly optimized like Skyforce Reloaded, it works pretty well. But anything lightweight and optimized like this will work pretty nicely. Things that are not optimized are games like Crossy Road, which is a pretty heavy game, believe it or not. Here's a quick sound test.
Yeah, Freddy. Cameron, I need to talk to you. Freddy, I have work to do. Sit. What do you need? Cameron, I want to be famous again. Okay. I'm too old. What are the kids like? What do the kids watch? Kids are on Instagram like trading memes. What are those? I don't understand. You know, funny pictures or videos usually have like a caption with it. So you're saying we should do memes? I mean, yeah.
So there you go, that's what it sounds like. The speakers are pretty horrible. And lastly, before we end this video, let's go ahead and talk about the battery life. So playing a 1080p video locally at full brightness using VLC will give you 5 hours and 40 minutes of playback time at full brightness, again at 1080p. So what that means is if you got local videos that you want to play, you can play them fairly smoothly without much problems. But if you try to stream anything, then you're not going to have a good time. It's most likely going to lag and cause a lot of issues. So the best way to enjoy a video on this thing is through VLC. So again, 5 hours and 40 minutes of battery life and 2.5 hours to charge this thing from 0%. And with that, we can go ahead and conclude this video. So should you get this tablet? It's a simple no. Not only is it pretty laggy when it comes to games, which is not the purpose of this tablet, it's pretty expensive at around $180, but not only that, but it also crashes, which means this tablet is not stable. So even if you get the SIM cards working and you use this thing as GPS, if you can even get it to work, it's probably going to cost you a lot of issues. Battery life is pretty okay, and overall it has a pretty nice display, but paired with some pretty terrible speakers and horrible performance. And with that, that is pretty much it for this video. So stay tuned, we got one more tablet to review, and then we're going to start comparing tablets and laptops and pretty much everything we have reviewed previously and make a nice list of the best things that I have reviewed this far. So stay tuned for that, it's going to be pretty exciting. We got some more Lenovo videos coming up. And yeah, that is actually pretty much for this video. So thank you all for watching, hope you have enjoyed this video, found it helpful. If you did, hit the like button and subscribe for content like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care everyone.